You keep getting ghosted by women you are into. As soon as you start getting close, it's because of two reasons. The first, she's emotionally unavailable, or she has avoidant tendencies in dating.
If you've been watching my videos or you've been through most of them, I'm sure you know that I've done a lot of videos about women pulling away. And that's because it's one of the things that concerns men so much. I mean, you have this girl that's really into you, you have a great relationship, everything's going great. And then all of a sudden she gets really cold and distant. She pulls away, your attention isn't on you, you're not a priority anymore. And this really freaks guys out. And in most cases, they really just don't know what to do. And what they end up doing is they start chasing her and start laying on the romance extra thick and start being extra available and extra nice just to get her attention back onto them. And what ends up happening when guys do that is it actually makes the situation worse. She becomes more distant. You're less of a priority. She almost is treating you like you're beneath her. And part of the reason is because she knows she holds the power now, because the way that you reacted to the situation. And a lot of these online coaches and psychiatrists and whatnot, they all seem to go to attachment theory. Oh, well, she's an avoidant. That's got to be the reason why. And while that could be the reason, it's usually not the reason, because all women do this, okay? And it's impossible for all women to be avoidant. I don't have the numbers on it, but avoidant personality there's not that many of them. It's actually very low. Most people have a secure attachment style. And then there's the smaller group that has an anxious attachment style and an avoidant attachment style. So that usually isn't the case. So I thought it was important to be able to do another video on this to hammer it into your head even further why this is happening. But let's see what some of the women tell you. Let's see what their perspective is on why women pull away from you.
Okay, I just did a video on reasons why a guy could pull away, but here are some reasons as to why a girl pulls away. This could also apply to anyone, but a majority of women pull away because of these reasons. You're reluctant to commit to her. For example, she wants to be exclusive and you don't. So emotionally, she could pull away. Or she wants to move in and you're happy with how things are. Now in that situation, sometimes they get anxious and they get passive aggressive, but some women honestly could just pull away. Number two, she could have feelings for someone else. Now a lot of people are gonna attack me and say, yeah, because women always have a lot of options. But you also have to understand that women would much rather stay in one relationship opposed to having 5 million. They have a lot of emotions and would much rather have one person be there for them. So yes, their options are limitless, but that doesn't make all their options good for them. Number three, she realized that she came on too strong. Number four, which is a big one, you're not opening up emotionally, where she feels unloved and unappreciated.
Now, yes, all of those could be true, but once again, these are not usually the case, okay? And one of the reasons why I wanted to hear from what other women say is because I've tried to explain this in my videos before too, is women oftentimes, they don't understand why they do the things that they do, because women tend to act on their current emotional state. And that emotional state is always in flux. I'm sure you could ask any woman and she goes through a dozen, maybe 24 different emotions throughout the day. Whereas men, I'm not saying that we don't experience emotions, but we're much more even keel throughout the day. And we tend not to act on emotion. We do sometimes, obviously, because we've all done it. But what I'm trying to say is women use their emotions as their guidance system, where men tend to use more logic as their guidance system. And what women tend to do is they act on that current emotion, and then they kind of backwards rationalize it in their head to where it makes sense. And that's where they come up with their reason. And oftentimes the reason that they come up with makes them completely innocent. So, and I'm sure you've noticed that before too. But overall, what I'm trying to say is women oftentimes don't understand why they're actually pulling away. In fact, I have found that in most cases, women don't even realize that they're pulling away. It's usually not a conscious decision. Their emotions are just taking them in that direction. Because I've had numerous men that have come to me and they said, well, I tried to talk to her about it and she just was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was being distant. So in turn, I tell men, I was like, don't talk to her about it. Just follow what I suggest that you do and it will turn around. But again, guys hear from women and their female friends or their mother or their sister or something like that will tell them, well, you need to communicate. And yes, communication is important, but in certain situations, you're just being too logical and it's not going to do anything. In fact, in a lot of cases, it makes things worse. As an example, approaching her and saying, I've noticed you've been distant lately. Really what you're doing is you're putting the idea in her head that her actions have control over how you respond to things and your own emotions. In other words, whatever she does can change your emotions. And so she knows that she has power over you. And when a woman realizes that she has power over you, she starts taking advantage of that. What a lot of guys don't understand is, as a man, you want to be the one that has the power in the relationship. And when I say power, I don't mean that she has to do whatever you tell her to do and that it's my way or the highway. What I'm saying is you're the one that is leading the relationship. You're the one that's calling the shots for the most part. And even for men, when you're calling the shots, it's completely fine to get her feedback on it, but she's looking at you to make the decision and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But when you give her all the power, for one thing, it makes her feel unsafe. She may think that she wants the power, and I've talked to numerous women about this. They always think that they want the power until they get it, and they realize that they could walk all over their man. They don't want a man like that. And you holding the power in the relationship, it's actually one of the things that makes you so attractive to her. So you have to show her that when she pulls away from you emotionally, that you don't lose control of yourself and lose control of your emotions, because that's going to show her that you're a confident guy and you don't need her. You may want her, but you don't need her to feel confident and to feel good about yourself. And that, again, that's another thing that makes you very attractive to women.
You keep getting ghosted by women you are into. As soon as you start getting close, it's because of two reasons. The first, she's emotionally unavailable or she has avoidant tendencies in dating. So as soon as intimacy starts to build, her fear of intimacy, her fear of losing her autonomy and partnership is activated, and so she'll try to get away. And the second reason is because as soon as she starts to lean in, you start over-investing. You start over-giving and people-pleasing, which no longer makes her feel chosen. Instead, she feels like you need her affirmation, and this doesn't make her feel safe.
Okay, so the last part of what she was talking about, I do agree with to some extent. I really thought she was going to go into this whole thing about her being avoidant and her being emotionally unavailable, which, again, those things could be true, but that's usually not the case. As she mentioned in there, a lot of times guys start over investing, and that makes her feel unsafe and that she's not actually chosen, that you're there because you need her. You need her in order to feel confident and happy and to have a fulfilling life. And this is why I tell you guys that you need to have a life outside of her. You need to have purpose in your life, and you should be focused on that more than her. Now, she will complain about that. They all do. But it also shows her that you're with her because you choose to be with her, that you're not there just because you need any woman in your life right now. Because that's really what neediness tells them. It tells them that, number one, you have no other options, but number two, that you're with her because you have no other options. Women want to be with a guy who has options, but still chooses her. That's what makes her feel special. And that's one of the reasons why girls tend to gravitate towards, the bad boys or the guys that have lots of girlfriends, because they love that idea that they can attract this guy away from all the other girls. And that would mean that that man chooses her, even though he could have any girl. But in many cases, when you ask these coaches and psychiatrists, they give you a bunch of psychobabble stuff that really doesn't help you at all. Doesn't really give you any actionable steps. They might say, well, she's an avoidant. Oh, okay. What do I do with that? You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff is really pointless gibberish that really does no help for you at all. That's why as a coach, I try to give you guys actionable steps, things that actually will work and that you will actually have some sort of positive outcome with the situation. Plus, a lot of these female coaches and psychiatrists, they talk to you like you're a little kid or a little puppy dog. And, this is what you have to do. And this is why girls feel this way. You don't need to know all that stuff. You're a man, you're not a woman. So let's see what this next woman has to say.
All right, husbands, this one is for you. Is your wife leaning out of the relationship? Is she acting differently? Is she possibly talking to other men online or on her phone? And are you desperate to heal your marriage, but you feel helpless and lost, like you just don't know what to do? Hi, I'm Kelly. My husband Ned and I have been coaching married individuals and couples for over 10 years. And what we have found is that when women are leaning out like this, it's because their primary needs of emotional connection and deep emotional intimacy in all of the areas of the relationship, they're not being met. You see, we women are emotional creatures and we feel things really deeply. And so we want you to feel us and be able to meet us in these places of feeling us, and then be able to reflect it back to us in a way that lets us know that you hear us, you feel us, you understand us, and that you are impacted by us. And we need to feel that back from you. And if you don't know.
Okay, I'm just going to stop that right there. It's just a bunch of that nonsense over and over again. And again, that's another potential reason why a woman is pulling away. But once again, it is not the main reason, the usual reason why women pull away. And I think you guys have been waiting long enough, and I'm going to tell you why they usually pull away. It's usually because you're already overinvested. What I mean by that is she feels that she doesn't really need to do anything in order to keep your attention and your attraction on her. She knows that you're going to do everything anyway, that you're going to call, that you're going to text, that you're going to come over, that you're going to do whatever it takes to keep her in your life. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But when you do too much of it, when you care too much and you're too attached to the outcome, that is what really causes women to pull away in most cases. Basically, what it means is her interest is low. It's still there. It's not gone, but it is low. And the only way to get that back in most cases is that she needs to feel that space. She needs to miss you a little bit. She needs to start longing for you. It's very counterintuitive. So this is why most guys don't get it. So the best way to handle a situation like that when she starts becoming distant is to match and mirror her level of investment and enthusiasm. In other words, when she pulls away, let her go. And go and turn your attention onto something else. And she will be in touch with you when she starts to miss you again. Now, a lot of guys just don't have that kind of faith. And the reason for that is because you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself. And I know guys hate hearing that, but it's the simple truth. I've been through this quite a bit when I was younger and I couldn't figure it out. But once I started gaining that confidence and understanding that, I don't need a particular woman in my life for me to feel that way. And I started letting them go when they pulled away, and they would just come rushing back and, oh my God, I missed you. I love you. I want to see you. And that's usually what happens. Now, like I said, all these things that these women mentioned in this video could be what's going on. But in most cases, that's not the case. And even in these situations that these women are talking about, you handle it the same way. You just give them a little space. And if she needs to talk about something with you, like maybe you're the one, she feels that you're the one that's being too distant, or that you're the one that's not committing, or you're the one that isn't communicating the way that she wants, she's going to bring it up. Maybe not right away, but she is going to bring it up. And it can't hurt you to ask her, hey, is everything okay? Do you need to talk about something? Because women tend to think that we can read their minds, or that we should know. We should know because we know her and we've been with her for a while, and we should know what she's thinking and what she's going through, but we don't. So sometimes it takes a little pushing and prodding and just saying, hey, is everything okay? Let's talk about this. What's going on? But in most cases, she's just going to be the one that brings it up And maybe she gets a little distant. And when she comes back, she says, hey, we need to talk about something. But for the most part, it's not your job to figure out exactly what's going on with her and exactly why she's pulling away. So this is why I say just match her level of investment and enthusiasm until she starts being the girl that you love again. And she starts showing more investment. She starts showing more enthusiasm. Then you start giving it back to her. In fact, if she pulls away for a few days, maybe a week, and then she starts reaching out to you again, it's a great time to say, hey, why don't we get together Friday night, go have some dinner? So if she did feel that you were a little distant, now she's feeling a little relieved, like, oh, okay, nothing's wrong here. So really how I see what a lot of these women are saying, what a lot of coaches say is just complicating the situation. But I wanted to throw in one more in order to get a full perspective.
This is the number one mistake that men make when women start to pull away. Is the woman that you're dating, seeing, maybe even married to starting to pull away? Does it feel like once you start to actually show interest, you start to actually open up, now all of a sudden she's pulling back? Wait, don't be too quick to label her as avoidant. This is the number one mistake that clients make all of the time. So you may be labeling her as avoidant, but I'm going to be blunt here for a second. This might be something that you were just doing in order to fit your narrative. The reality of it is, she's probably just not that into you yet. And the key point there was the word yet. So what should you do when she starts to back away? Number one, the obvious one, don't reach out. So my clients always ask me, okay, well, what if she doesn't reach out? The truth is that women will miss your absence and they will reach out if they want to. But I want to ask you, why are you into a woman who is only into you when you are pulling back or not giving her that attention? Why does it take you doing something that you don't want to do in order to get the attention that you need from her?
Okay, that last part, she does make a good point. I mean, if she's only giving you attention anytime you match her distance, there might be an issue there. But at the same time, like I was saying before, when she starts to miss you is really when her attraction starts to grow. When she's starting to feel that uncertainty, she's not sure where she stands. She's starting to feel a little anxious. That's really when her attraction is starting to grow. And what this particular woman is talking about is in the early stages when you just started dating or something like that, and it's getting really hot and heavy, then all of a sudden she pulls away. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind too is a lot of these times when a woman pulls away, it's just a test. And like I've explained in other videos, tests, 95% of the time, women aren't doing it consciously. So something inside of them, part of their instinct says, you know what, why don't you pull away from this guy to see if he loses all of his confidence? So a lot of times it's that. But again, like I was saying, you handle the situation the same way, and you just match her level of investment and enthusiasm until her attraction begins to rise again. She starts to miss you. She reaches out to you. There's always going to be like this back and forth between you two, with sometimes she may be investing a little bit more than you, and then you're investing a little bit more than her. So it's always kind of like this back and forth, push and pull. And there's always going to be a little bit of that. But as long as you remain calm and centered throughout situations like that, where she's less invested in you, a majority of the time she's going to be more invested in you, because it shows that you're confident and secure and that you have other things going on in your life besides just her. So moving forward, just always keep in mind that women are going to pull away sometimes. And forget all this advice that you get from a majority of women about her being avoidant. She's not emotionally available. She's pulling away because you're not chasing her enough. There's always going to be some logical response that they're going to give you, but they never think about the fact that they're just a little bored with you right now. They're a little too familiar with you. You're a little too overinvested in her. They don't think about that because they don't realize that they're actually doing it. So just follow what I suggest in this situation. She starts pulling away. You just turn your attention elsewhere until she starts being more invested and more enthusiastic about you. And when that happens, you simply just set up a date, go have some fun together, lead her into the bedroom, and all will be well until the next time she does this. So it's just part of that whole back and forth thing that I was talking about. You're playing the game, you're dancing the dance, and that's really what all that you have to do. It might be frustrating, it might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. And you have to learn how to deal with that and how to accept it, because all women do it. There's no getting out of that. So if you guys found this video helpful and you need some private one-on-one coaching, head on over to my website at soa.fm and click on the coaching tab. I have phone coaching for North American clients, and I have Zoom coaching for clients outside North America. And be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.